Winter Solstice 2022, written, produced, and directed by Reverend Dr. Dikki Mullen. This video will explore the Winter Solstice chart for 2022 and its implications for the year 2023. Dr. Mullen asks that you subscribe to her YouTube channel, where she has more than 100 videos of related material.
I'm astrologer and paranormal investigator Dikki Mullen, coming to you with the Winter Solstice horoscope. This is an ingress chart. That's the formal name for it when the sun moves into the sign of Capricorn from the astrological perspective. And that moment reveals the entire future for what's going to be happening up until the spring equinox begins a new cycle. Taking a look at the winter solstice horoscope, the sun at 0 degrees of Capricorn is exactly square Jupiter at 0 degrees of Aries. This shows a tendency toward extravagance and toward gambles, both on the world scene and from a personal perspective. The square, the 90-degree angle, represents an activity that is very driven, very intense. And this is saying everyone will want to go out on the proverbial limb and to be a risk taker. Also, the 0 of both Capricorn for the sun and Aries for Jupiter shows new things are going to be a very big thing. Innovation is maybe the good keyword for this season. So off with the old and on with the new. All the old rules are broken, and it's kind of like we're creating a new paradigm, a new millennium. At the same time, the moon is at 8 degrees of Sagittarius for the solstice, and that is at the dark of the moon. So there's a lot going on beneath the surface. Much is unrevealed and futuristic. Also, people will feel the need for peace and privacy, not to be annoyed or irritated by a lot of external factors. Mars is retrograde, which shows the aggressor always loses. So if there is any sort of a road rage incident, anyone blowing the horn at you, any tendency to get angry, just step back, give the aggressor enough space, and he or she will create their own problems or difficulties. The same is true of political involvements. Anytime there's a war, the aggressor always loses if Mars is retrograde at the time of the conflict. And so whether it's an office conflict, a worldwide conflict, just kind of see if that isn't true. Mars will be retrograde in Gemini, which indicates a war of words and thoughts and ideals more than something physical in many cases. And also it brings a multifaceted, complex quality. We have the moon opposing Mars here, which shows that there is a tendency to feel persecuted or to believe the worst of people. Try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, because intentions may not be ill, but could seem that way with this Moon-Mars opposition. There's a stellium, that's a grouping of 3 or more planets in one sign, and that sign is Capricorn. We have Pluto, Mercury, and Venus all conjoining between 14 and 27 degrees of Capricorn. This is a powerful emphasis on the fate of the earth. And there's going to be a lot of interest in ecology, the weather, and earth-related topics. That expands to include the crops and financial security. There'll be shortages and problems with some agricultural situations, and also a lot of complexities about trying to find the financial rules for everything. All in all, I could say it looks like interesting times coming up for us during the season ahead, from the winter of December 21st, 2022 until the spring chart, the first week of Aries, which will be the week of March 21st of 2023, when a new cycle begins. Saturn continues its transit through the sign of Aquarius, which emphasizes political unrest and human rights issues. Many global demonstrations going on in various countries around the world. And the planet Pluto is making a rare sign change this year. Pluto stays in each sign for an entire generation. It's going to touch the sign of Aquarius on March 23rd, just as the winter is ending, and then will retrograde back into Capricorn, making its final passage into Aquarius on the 19th of November 2024. There's a lot of different retrogrades with it going back and forth over the Capricorn Aquarius cusp, and then it stays 20 years in each sign. So from November 19th of 2024 to March 8th of 2043, it will be in the sign of Aquarius. Up until then, it's going back and forth, and we're going to feel a lot of yo-yoing back and forth in our lives. All of this is going to make sense with dates and things that take place right around March 23rd, the end of the winter season. This is the most significant transit of this year, according to most astrologers, and in fact the decade. Liberty, equality, a fundamental shift in values. Financial security won't mean what it did before. The weather patterns are all going to be different. The key to surviving and to doing well is flexibility. The species that always survive and do the best are those that are the most adaptable, the most flexible. And as journeyers here on planet Earth, that's what's important to remember right now. Jupiter is in an out-of-sign conjunction with Neptune. Neptune is in the last degrees of Pisces, and Jupiter at 9 degrees of Aries in this winter solstice horoscope. This is a very spiritual combination, looking for new spiritual and psychological frontiers to understand the meaning behind our lives, and the messages in the world around us are all most significant. Chiron is in Aries and retrograde. Chiron has a great deal to do with education, and so the reform of educational institutions will be very important during this winter solstice. Uranus is retrograde in Taurus. Taurus is the earth. It represents financial security, the land, the secrets in crystals and minerals and chemicals, the fruits of the earth. All of that emphasis shows the need to be sensitive to the planet, to the spirit of Gaia and planet Earth during the season ahead. If you are a fire sign, an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarian, you're going to be very emotionally affected by everything going on because of the position of the moon. And also, you'll be excited about risk-taking, trying something different, challenging the status quo. If you are a water sign, a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio, you will be profoundly affected by the spiritual realities of what's going on. You might have some interactions with elementals, such as elves or angels, and also you can have some spiritual awakenings and realizations with the higher self, working with chakra work and meditation. If you are a water sign, will be positive. And then also, it's a good idea to meditate near the water, the beach, or even on pictures of the water front. Lakes, rivers, and streams can help you to understand your message. If you are an air sign, an Aquarian, a Gemini, or a Libra, you're fed up with a few things. Saturn, the challenging planet in Aquarius, and Mars, the energy planet in Gemini, show that you can be much more angry and confrontational. A good way to release that energy would be with physical fitness programs. You also might be much more competitive than usual. Finally, if you are an earth sign, a Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo, you will be finishing up old business because Uranus is retrograde, and re-evaluating what financial security means, what's truly of value to you, being out in nature, camping, or even taking photographs of nature, interacting with wildlife on different levels can be very therapeutic and very significant if you are an earth sign. Wherever you are on earth, the key word is change. Off with the old, on with the new. To change is to grow. To change often is to grow much. That would be a really effective mantra for this season. This is Dikki Jo Mullen wishing you a happy new year, 2023.
Reverend Dr. Dikki Jo Mullen, astrologer, psychic, and parapsychologist. Dr. Mullen provides the following services: astrology, psychic, rune, and tarot card readings, face-to-face and Zoom readings and seances, and webinars and face-to-face presentations. Thank you for watching. Reverend Dr. Dikki Jo Mullen can be contacted at her skymaiden@juno.com email address. She also has a Facebook page, which she invites you to view, and her WordPress site, where she has additional resources.